Ya sarvatrana vishnehas Tat prapya shubhashubham Na vinandati na dvesti Tasya prajna pratistita. In the material world, one who is unaffected by whatever good or evil he may obtain, neither praising it nor despising it, is firmly fixed in perfect knowledge. Alright, Prabhupada says, there is always some upheaval in the material world, which may be good or evil. One who is not agitated by such material upheavals, who is unaffected by good and evil, is to be understood to be fixed in Krishna consciousness. So, in the 60s, there was war between, in India, Pakistan and India. So there was a lot of bombing and all going in around Delhi area, I think it was Delhi. So Srila Prabhupada was there at that time. So then the devotees were saying, Prabhupada, this war, bombings, let's go. Then Prabhupada said, no, don't worry about this. If worse come to worse, if the war gets even more terrible, we will just sit in the holy place and chant Hare. So he was not disturbed by all these things. So you can see a person he understands what his focus is clearly. He knows what to do. But when there's war everywhere, what can you do much? You can't do much. You can run here and there, but best instead of running and running is to at least pray or chant. Oh, another thing you all can do is to improve yourselves, you can pray for each other. Not pray for your husband and husband pray for wife. No. You pray for the person you don't like. Can you all do that?
How that works?
How that works? You pray to the Lord, say, please help this person to be a good devotee.
Mercy.
Huh?
Just like mercy on them.
Yeah, please, bestow your mercy, and make me see them in the best view. So all of you can make your own prayers. You don't have to tell me who the person is. I don't know. But you can do that. It's for your own purification. You can do that. You can do this, then you're giving up your false ego. Yes.
Or is it something like saying Sarve Jana Sukhino Bhavantu?
Huh?
Something like saying Sarve Jana Sukhino Bhavantu.
What is that?
That everyone is happy.
Happy?
Let all live. Let all live.
Let others live.
No, it's too general. One person you take, you pray for the welfare of that person, and you pray. It's for your benefits, not for me. It's for your benefit. So at least you give up that whatever you don't like the person, but you're praying. That means you are going to like the person. It's good practice. Think about it. If you can't do, then you have a problem. Because we all want to become Sthita Pragya. So this is a practice I'm giving you, so you can do it. I can't force you, but you can do it. And by doing that, Krishna will also be pleased with you. Because you're taking a humble position. Right? It's taking a humility. Yeah, okay, I'll pray for you. Alright. Or in most circles, like in those seminars where you go, where they teach you personal things, or they say, some of the business seminars they say, or mediation things, they will say, alright, both parties don't like each other, they'll say, they put them together and say, okay, you say 10 good things about that person. Now you have to say 10 good things about this person. So they have to do it in mediation. They have to write and say, okay, yeah, And by the time they read all the 10, they feel good also. Okay. And the other person also, oh, okay, he or she thinks good about it. Okay, alright. So
They're friends.
and they become friends, so they mend their ways like that. It's important. We are all part and parcel of, we are all children of Krishna.
So whatever we say, it reflects our own self.
Yes.
If you're talking about
If you say good thing about them, you will develop
a good thing.
the good qualities. Yes.
But it shouldn't be also like falsely saying, it should be real.
Well, that's why I'm saying you go and talk to Krishna, don't tell me.
Yeah. No, I mean falsely also you should not say
Well,
anything.
you will know whether you are making it up or not. The Lord is in your heart and you will know. So, this is something you all should do. It's good for you. Text 58. Yada samharate chayam Kurmonganiva sarvashaha Indriyanindriyatevyas Tasya prajna pratistita. One who is able to withdraw his senses from sense objects, as the tortoise draws its limbs within the shell, is firmly fixed in perfect consciousness. This is a very nice description. It's like, well, this is a question, this is the 58, right? So it's a question to how does it sit? So that means how does he control his senses? So when there is something that will disturb his senses, he will not engage in it. He will withdraw from it. Like as I was saying, if you watch TV, your senses are going to be bombarded with all kinds of nonsense. But one who's sthita prajna will shut it off. So he withdraws his senses.
If somebody is suffering,
Yeah.
is it our duty to go and help them?
Yeah.
Even though that might be affecting us, like
How does it affect you?
it might hurt us and like you're taking his pain too.
Yeah, that is empathy. Yeah. But if you show empathy, people will appreciate you for that. But if you really can't take it too much, then don't spend too much time. Yeah. But empathy is a good thing. Then you can appreciate what people are going through. Not many people can empathize. Generally people don't like to see, like for example, somebody dying, right? Because it's fear of death. I don't see people die, so they run away and hide. But it's going to happen to all of us, so we should face that. The way to have strength to face that is to develop Krishna consciousness. So you see them as a spirit soul who is finished with the body and is going to another destination, be it the higher planetary system or a next body. So we should be, if we can see it like that, then you won't be disturbed. And then when they are suffering, you give them good words and tell them, don't worry, just chant, Krishna will protect you, like that. So how does it sit here? So he is able to control the senses according to how it should be utilized. Senses will be utilized correctly. For the service of Krishna, yes, he will. But anything else that's going to disturb his senses, he withdraws it. That's why the example of a tortoise, right? When you try to disturb a tortoise, it will go inside the shell. Yeah. So the same way, if you know something will disturb you, then you will keep yourself away from that disturbing things, right? So that's your thing. Don't let yourself get agitated. For example, let's say you're talking to someone and the person is screaming, then you just say, Hare Krishna, I have something to do. I will meet next time. We'll talk. Yeah. Peacefully you walk away. Like that. Or if someone is, what else can that be? if you're walking by or you're in a restaurant and then they're cooking something nonsense, you don't go to those places. It's, it'll disturb your senses. Don't go to places that's going to disturb you. Okay? If you know some place like the mall you go, but there's a particular shop that has some things that will disturb you, why you walk there all the time? Sometimes devotees who are new, they think after a few months they control their senses. So they will go to some places to see if their senses are controlled. But that's foolishness. So a sage like that will not be disturbed. Prabhupada was once asked about this. They were saying, Prabhupada, you have control of your senses like that, your sex desire. Prabhupada said, it's not like that. It's not like I don't have sex desire. It's there, but I don't let it disturb me. So same way as devotees, we practice it, but we don't let it become agitated. So don't go to places that will agitate your senses. Right? So it's important to know those things like that. Otherwise, the senses are like the serpents. They will, once the venomous serpent, Prabhupada said, they will want to act without restriction. If you give a little bit, they will jump all over, right? You can see yourself. Sometimes you've done something, you know you shouldn't do, but then you did it, then you cannot control yourself. Huh?
Chocolate.
Chocolate. it's not bad. Chocolate's not so bad. But that's a good example. Yeah.
But it's caffeine, right?
Yeah, but it's a good example. It's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
But
One piece.
yeah, I know, I understand. Yeah, you see chocolate like nobody there. It's not the end of the world, taking a piece of chocolate. But if you can avoid it, good. Yeah, it's like that. That's a good example. I will remember that. So don't do it, yeah. Particularly, I think during Halloween, you better lock yourself in. I think I was lucky. I never liked chocolate for some reason.
Prabhuji, but in this example,
Yeah.
he withdraws his limbs inside his shell. Same thing, we just quiet no matter what happening. Close your
No,
eyes.
go away from that place. Yeah.
Go away.
Yeah, go away. You cannot just stand in front of the billboard and then right? You see a white half-naked woman, you say, I'm going to control my senses. I'm withdrawing my senses. No, that's not what it means. Just get out from there.
So somebody's talking bad stuff, just move away from there.
Yeah, or you can lead a kirtan. You say, oh, let's have a kirtan. Always try to find the best way to make your Krishna consciousness come up in situations like that. I mean, it's going to be a challenge, you will get phone call from your relatives, sisters, and they talk all nonsense, right? So out of etiquette, you'll say, I have to listen. You don't have to. Say, no, oh, I have this cooking on the pot, I have to go, I'll call you tomorrow. You have to devise ways where you say, oh, I'm going out. And you don't have to, for your Krishna conscious sanity, sometimes you have to do some, you can say those kind of white lies. Okay? It's not you're like dishonest person. No, you are focusing on Krishna. Sometimes, people will call you from all the way from, Chennai or whatever you live, right? They call you, just to complain about their daughter-in-law walked this way, didn't walk the other way. No, people do that. Indian people. When I was growing up, I used to watch all my relatives. The complaints would be all meaningless. It's totally meaningless. I never could understand
It's
something.
just not Indian, it's universal.
Well, maybe I grew up in an Indian family, so I can say it's basically Indian.
No, here I heard, here from
Yeah, go
my
on.
colleagues, so.
Yeah.
it's
Oh, okay, so
universal.
you know.
It's universal disease.
Wow, she did this, he did this.
But how people learn this kind of, because generation by generation people.
They watch,
explain.
right? You do it in front of your kids, then your kids will think, oh, I have to be like that. Okay, all right, I remember that. So then you see the children play, they'll do the same thing, right? They'll do the same.
So one monkey copies another monkey.
Yeah, exactly. So we teach by example. No? So that's why as adults you don't fight in front of your children. Never fight. You say time out and then husband and wife go to the room and say, and then come back, smile. So the kids will think what's up, but they don't know, it's fight. But otherwise they will do the same thing. I've seen it in family where the husband and wife shout at each other in front of kids. Now the kids are married, they shout at each other, their children, because they think that's how it should be done. Even though they don't want to do it. Some of them say, I hate to do it, but I don't know why I'm doing it like that. It's become conditioning, used to it. So you can see all these small things. When you look at human life, the way it's funny actually. Actually it's humorous. When you look at it from Krishna conscious point of view. And we do all kinds of silly things and we cry about silly things. And so. But now it's time to grow. Time to leave this thing behind and go back. Become a sthita-bhya, and become a tortoise and a devotee. Move on. So he never lets his senses loose, but he controls them. How to control your senses? By following rules and regulations in Krishna consciousness. The do's and the do-nots. Okay? Text 59. Vishaya vinirvartante nirharasya dehina rasavarjam rasopyasya param drisva nivartate. The embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, though the taste for sense objects remains. But ceasing such engagements by experiencing a higher taste is fixed in consciousness. So this is the real method. You must develop a higher taste. Okay? Just like you're used to coffee or tea, so then when you become devotee, you're not supposed to take coffee and tea. So you substitute it with
Something else.
herbal tea or something. For chocolate, I have a good one, carob. Carob, yeah. Carob seeds. Huh? What's that? Carob is it's made from a type of a bean. It's also called the St. John's bread. It's got a few other names also. But it's a bean. But they use it, it doesn't have the caffeine and all those things. It tastes very much like chocolate, but it is not chocolate. Carob, C-A-R-O-B. But you need to know how to use it though. But one of my god sisters is very expert. She'll make nice white chocolate, carrot chocolates.
How you spell C-A?
C-A-R-O-B. Carob. So you expect. So the point here is, if you do devotional service, you will experience a higher taste. So then you will be thinking, I want to do service all the time. So So therefore, those lower things that you used to have, you can give it up. You don't focus on it anymore. Huh? Instead of spending the weekend watching TV, now you come to temple to do service. Because you like doing this. This is a higher taste. But that way, your senses are never disturbed. Though the taste for the sense objects remains, but you are now doing a higher service. Eventually, it will go away completely by keeping on purifying yourself. So it's important. Alright, so then text 60 to 63, Krishna explains the dangers of Arjuna's plan to renounce work and go to forest. Okay, so he thinks by doing that he can get free.
Yeah.
You got it?
Yeah.
Same like chapter.
Okay.
See the difference.
That's the wonders of the technology. Yeah? You can look it up. Okay. So let's read. Yatato hi api konteya purushasya vipaschitaha indriyani pramatini aranti prasabam manaha. The senses are so strong and impetuous, O Arjuna, that they forcefully carry away the mind even of a man of discrimination who is endeavoring to control them. So the example is Vishwamitra. Okay, he goes to the forest to meditate for thousands of years, and Indra sends Menaka. Immediately he cannot control himself. So therefore, even those who are trying to control the senses can just, in a moment, right? Just a moment of a lapse, that's it, boom. So we have to understand, it's not easy to control, but when you have a higher taste, when you are following Krishna consciousness, devotion service, you will find that you can control. Just like the other example is given is Haridas Thakur. He was chanting and this prostitute came to lure him. She was paid by someone to make this Haridas Thakur fall down, so that to belittle him and make him into a laughing stock. But because he was meditating on Krishna, he told the prostitute, you just sit here and listen to me chant. Once I'm finished, I will enjoy with you. So then he chanted. But he chants for 22 hours. Okay. So then she was sitting and listening, and then it was daytime and she said, I have to go. Then she said, I'll come back tomorrow. He said, yes, surely I'll please you tomorrow. So the next day she came, he said, I still haven't finished my rounds, So you please sit, and when I'm finished, I'll take care of it. Then he continued chanting. So 3 days she came. And then by the third day, she started crying and asked for forgiveness. Because he is such a powerful personality, he's an acharya. So by his chanting, she got purified. So similarly, when you are focused in Krishna consciousness, such things cannot disturb you. Or Krishna will protect you. So this is a very good example. So otherwise the senses will just drag you away.
So you're saying the bad thing that's happening to you, that will stop?
To some extent. For example, let's say according to your karma, you're supposed to lose an arm, right? So you become a good devotee and doing so much service, then you will only maybe have a broken finger. Krishna can adjust your
karma.
Yes, because he's removing it. So that's good, no? Right? Huh?
There is a story, right? Even with a broken finger, they wanted to take him for sacrifice. Everybody, the Jalabharta story says.
Oh yes,
they
yes.
For sacrifice,
Yes.
He saves his life.
Saves his life. That's right. So it's interesting, but that's how it is. Krishna will help you out. But you still have to have some, but he's not going to come and change your body. If you have a ugly face, you become beautiful because you're chanting. No. This is This is already prarabdha karma, you're already undergoing it. So that's not going to change. But then you show people that even though you are suffering or whatever, you're still a devotee. Therefore people who learn, he can do it, I can do it. So at least it encourages people. Yeah, that's a very good Jagavarak story. So even if you know I shouldn't do it, sometimes you know, right? The doctor tells you don't eat this, but then you see your wife is not there, you eat. I know one devotee who has a diabetes, so his wife is very strict at home. Cannot eat this, cannot eat that. So he comes to the temple, he laughs and he eats all the sweets. And then he will say, no, we are going to die anyway. But then he got really sick, then he said, I better not do this. So yeah, so even with that intelligence, you can be overwhelmed by the senses. And of all the senses, the tongue is the hardest to control. So therefore, you should only eat prasadam to control the tongue. And at the same time, don't overeat. And even prasadam don't, because according to yoga, if you eat too much, your tongue will want to eat forever. Your stomach only has limited capacity. So then the stomach is too much, you cannot digest properly, it will force, the pressure will go down and it will force your genitals and then you will be disturbed. That's why yogis and all only eat some fruits, some nuts, that's all. So, like that. But doesn't mean you all only eat fruits and nuts, please. Eat nice prasadam, but don't overeat. Tani sarvani samyamya yukta sita matparaha vasehi yasyendriyani tasya prajna pratistita. One who restrains his senses, keeping them under full control and fixes his consciousness upon me is known as a man of steady intelligence. So this is the difference. Sometimes you artificially want to control, but you are not focused on Krishna, you cannot control. So that was the problem with Vishwamitra. He was trying on his own to control. So he was defeated. But ultimately he realized he had to focus, then he became successful when he focused on the Supreme Lord. So in the same way, you will notice in the court of Dhritarashtra, when Draupadi was being disrobed, in the beginning she thought she can hold off Dushasana, but he is he's a Maharaj, he's so powerful, so he started to disrobe her, and then she thought she can hold on with her strength, but she couldn't. So finally, she surrendered to Krishna. Hey Keshava, you take care of me. As soon as she surrendered, then it became an unlimited sari. Most women would have loved that. But anyway. So then he couldn't, he became tired and gave up. So in the same way, unless you are focused on Krishna, you cannot control your senses.
Does it still work right now if somebody's suffering a lot and you talk to Krishna and he'll help you right away?
Not necessarily. You're not at that level where, Krishna will come in. Even when Prabhupada was dying, the devotees asked him, Prabhupada, please stay longer. He said, I'll ask Krishna. So then later they asked him, saying, no, Krishna wants me to go back. So a devotee will always do what Krishna wants. So it's like that. So generally we don't want something for ourselves, generally. As a devotee, we never ask for ourselves. Ultimately, that's what you'll come to. Because your only desire is to please Krishna. As Krishna is happy, it's okay. Even if I die, it's okay.
Like I'm talking about somebody has a gun, is pointing at you.
Yeah, now that's different.
Krishna help me.
Okay, then you have to be more specific. No? When someone's pointing a gun, then you just say, Krishna, please help me, or let me focus my mind on you, or do something about this situation. Yeah, of course you can pray for that.
In Draupadi's example,
Yeah.
if she doesn't ask, still Krishna will help her.
Yeah, for sure, but she asked.
No, yeah, I know, she asked. But somebody is watching that she is in trouble.
In her case, she's a devotee of Krishna. Definitely Krishna would help her. But the point is she did ask. Yeah.
It's mainly for us to.
To learn, yes. Yeah.
You can't change that fact.
Yes, yeah. But yeah, sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes Krishna will come and help. In fact, Draupadi did ask Krishna, when Dushasana was pulling, why didn't you help me immediately?
Yeah.
Then he said, because you didn't ask for my help at that time.
So we are contrary. The one thing we said, don't ask. God knows He will give you. Today we are saying we ask.
Yeah, Krishna is like that. So you understand Krishna's mind. No matter what, you always only default is Krishna.
It's mysterious, isn't it?
Yes, that's what it is. Yeah.
Well, you ask when you're suffering, when you have it.
Generally, you
Need help.
ask not for your enjoyment. Okay? Yeah. You can ask for when you are having difficulty, like for example, you can't perform your services properly and so on. Then you ask him for intelligence, ask him for blessings so that you can do service for him. So that is a good prayer.
No material stuff.
Yeah, not, oh Krishna, I want this, I'm trying to get this house, but there's other guy also bidding for it, please, you give it to me. This one time you give me. Right? So those kind of prayers, Krishna won't intervene. Because those are material things. It's your sense. So they fall under karma.
So if you are suffering from your body, then you ask to be bad.
Well, it depends. If you are a person who does a lot of service and you are suffering greatly and you want to continue service, then you can say, Krishna, if you so desire, you please cure me. That is the prayer. Not that I want to get cured and you do it. You understand? It's always a request, as he pleases, not as you please. So it's Bhagavad Gita as it is, not as I want it.
I want to say something here actually. Now you just said a while back that our motive should be to go back to Godhead.
Yes.
That's the reason why we should do devotion. So that is also kind of, there is a motive, right? To
Yes,
go.
yes.
But
that's
there shouldn't be
it's
having
a
a
good
motive.
motive.
But
Going
there
back to
is,
Godhead. That's not material.
but even though there's maybe if we have some other non-material motive, so is that okay?
Like what?
Like,
Give
other than-
examples, then it makes more sense.
that next Janma I can come here and just serve Krishna. So that is
First you go back, then when Krishna wants, he'll send you.
But if this is my desire, I can next.
And you are
next
thinking
year.
like that, but first of all, you can't even do properly. For example, I'm
No,
saying,
I'm just-
most generally people cannot even take care of themselves. But
My
then-
point of view was sometimes you say
Okay, I mean, it sounds nice and so on, but Prabhupada said, no, go, you should pray to get out from this world.
When you want to come back and suffer.
Not suffer, he
Not
said
suffer.
help others.
Yeah.
But you see, acharyas who come
No,
are
this is-
sent
I don't
like
want this, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
just for this. to
That's not what our
put my-
acharya.
Okay.
In fact, even in the spiritual world, his own associates, they don't want to come to this material world. They say, oh, we don't want to leave you, Krishna. But Krishna tells them, no, I want you to help those guys. Then they come.
Okay, my point was we shouldn't be keeping any kind of motive or any kind
Material motives. Now if you say, Lord, let me, come back and save others, that's nothing wrong in that. But the first thing, physician, heal thyself. You understand? Whoever wants to make that prayer, when you come to a pure level, you will see that you won't be praying like that. Generally, when you are at that pure level, as you get more and more pure, you will see that you yourself as very fallen. You'll be crying because you see as yourself as a fallen, because then you realize the position of Krishna. And when you understand his position, you can see what kind of a nonsense you are. So you're not going to say, I'll come back and so on. You'll say, I'm not qualified, I'm so fallen like that. That's why you see the prayers of the acharyas. Yes, because they feel so fallen. They're not thinking they can help others. That's the thing. But yeah, you can say, Lord, let me come back and help others. But make sure you are capable of helping others.
It's like even I need help actually.
Yeah.
So take care of yourself first, then take care of
That's why
somebody else.
I said physician healing thyself. So once you become pure, no problem. You can come as many times as you want. Provided Krishna wants you to come. Sometimes Krishna don't want you to come back. He said, no, I miss you so much. Yeah. When if you read some of this Shastra, what is that? Bhagavadgita-Chapter2-Part05, there is one personality called Gopakumar. So when he went back to spiritual world, the Lord started crying. He said, I miss you so much. Don't leave my side anymore. So the Lord is always hankering for us to come back. But here we are so proud of our measly things that is temporary. So yeah, so prayers, best prayers is pray for other people. Lord, take that person back to God so he don't give me problem here. It's a good prayer. So that means they get to be purified, you also be happy. So particularly from the Bhagavatam, he shows how King Ambarish, how he focused all his senses for the pleasure of the Lord. King Ambarish is given. The example is King Ambarish fixed his mind on the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, engaged his words in describing the abode of the Lord, his hands in cleansing the temple of the Lord, his ears in hearing the pastimes of the Lord, his eyes in seeing the form of the Lord, his body in touching the body of the devotee, his nostrils in smelling the flavor of the flowers offered to the lotus feet of the Lord, his tongue in tasting the tulasi leaves offered to him, his legs in traveling to the holy place where his temple is situated, his head in offering obeisances unto the Lord, and his desires in fulfilling the desires of the Lord, so on and so on. And all these qualifications made him fit to become a Madhpara devotee of the Lord. So there are so many ways you can focus on the Lord. You can think, like for example today you will see the deities, right? So tonight when you go back before you sleep, you remember how the deities appeared or looked. Can you remember what jewelries they are wearing? What color outfit today?
Pink.
Okay, so these are some of the things you should remember. He's laughing. Memory. So that is called smarana. Yes, remembering. Okay. So you can do all these things. The methodology is very good. It's just that we need to practice. You'll find once you start practicing, Krishna in your heart will give you more knowledge. It's called Divya Gyan. So you know how to progress in your Krishna consciousness. 62. Okay, now Krishna is going to talk about how one falls down from being spiritually situated to material consciousness. Okay? It's in verses 62 and 63. Dhyayato vishayan pumsa Sangasteshu bhajayate Sangha sanjayate kamaha Kamat krodha vijayate These two verses are kind of very famous verses also. While contemplating the objects of senses, a person develops attachment for them. And from such attachment, lust develops, and from lust, anger arises. Okay? That means you think about something you want. You say, oh man, I want that BMW, it's so nice, I really need that, And then you become attached to it. Every time you go online and then you search BMW, this color, that look, all day, hours looking at BMW. And then you can't get the money. Then you become frustrated. And then frustration leads to anger. So this is part of lust actually. Lust doesn't mean only going after sexual things. This is also lust. Your attachment to something, that's the greater the attachment, it reflects your lust actually. That's so much, I want it. You don't get it, then you get angry about it. So what happens when you get angry about it? That's text 63. Krodhat bhavati sammoha. Sammohat smriti vibrama. Smriti bramshad buddhi nasho. Buddhi nasha pranashyati. And then from anger, complete delusion arises. And from delusion, bewilderment of memory. When memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost. And when intelligence is lost, one falls down again into the material kingdom. You get angry, then you do something foolish, something stupid, right? And then that's it. Why? Because when you have anger, you cannot use your intelligence and your memory.
You shut down.
Yes, that's a hardware shut down. So then you cannot access to do the right thing. So you will only do that which is spontaneous through the senses.
Program.
Yeah, reactionary. You just react. That's why you need to learn to control your senses so you don't get angry. Once you're angry, you cannot think clearly. And whatever you say, you cannot take back. Whatever you do, you cannot withdraw. So should we always be controlling your senses. Then what happens? Your intelligence is not there to help you, then you do all kinds of things, and then later on people will tell you, say, I never did that. No, don't tell me this. I didn't. Then again another level of anger comes. No, I'm not angry.
I'm just talking to
Isn't
you.
it? People are like that, huh?
I'm just talking to you.
Yeah. It's like that. So it's important to know, this is actually how it happens. Krishna is giving you scientifically how this thing happens. It's not something we concocted. It's scientific, how your intelligence gets lost. It happens to everyone, from the 3-year-old toddler to all the way up to the 100-year-old old man. Or like that. It happens. Unless you are Krishna conscious. It's the remedy for everything. It's a cure-all. I'm like this salesman selling this thing. Yeah, so why? Because Krishna consciousness is so scientific. It enables you to control your senses. It teaches you a method you can control senses. No other method can help you like that. And not only that, it delivers you beyond this realm of material universe. You can't even use your Sputnik or whatever now they have. They don't even have, NASA don't even have anymore, right? They sold out. So they go to European rockets or something. So your intelligence will get sharper when you serve Krishna. Yeah.
Can we say something so control cools you down so anger goes away?
Yeah.
Like say to myself something?
Yeah, you can count to 10.
Oh, count to 10.
I think the chanting is best, right?
Yeah, actually, if you're angry, just take your beat back and walk away from the situation and start chanting loudly to control your mind. Then when you're calm, you can come back and then and not start again. Discuss the matter in a saner frame of mind.
I think if you also start thinking good things.
Yeah.
then
If you
that's
can,
helpful too.
generally it's a hard thing.
Chanting and thinking a good thing.
You chant, then Krishna will help you to think positively. That is intelligence. If you can stop before you explode, is intelligence. That means your intelligence is telling you, time to take time out. Like that. So yeah. So senses are by nature active all the time. Okay? So you have only two choices. One is you engage it in a material thing, the other thing is you engage in spiritual thing. So if you engage in material thing, it gets out of control. It's like a serpent. You cannot satisfy it. But you engage in spiritual way, it is control, because spiritual is infinite. Krishna is infinite, so he can satisfy your senses. So even all the example Prabhupada gives is the example of in the previous purport is Lord Shiva himself, who is the topmost yogi in this universe. Even he is agitated by his wife Parvati. So it says, unless one is focused on Krishna, you will be agitated. There's no doubt about it. It's a fact, okay? You don't have to go and experiment it. And then the other example I already told you is about Haridas Thakur, how he could control it because he's focused on Krishna, chanting and so on. Alright, the last few verses now, next 6-7 verses. Text 64. Ragadesha vimukhtaistu Vishayan indriyashcharam Atma vaishyair vidyatma Prasadam adhigacchati. Prasadam means mercy. Yeah, blessings, mercy. Mostly everyone knows but one prasadam. Okay. But that's also mercy. That is also mercy. That's why we call it prasadam. Because arpanam, we give it to the Lord Krishna, and then he blesses and he gives. Because it's blessed, it became a mercy. It's his mercy, his blessing. So that's called prasadam. Translation. But a person free from all attachment and aversion and able to control his senses through regulative principles of freedom can obtain the complete mercy of the Lord. Now, regulative principles of freedom is controlling your senses. I mean, in ISKCON, we teach you 4 things, right? What are they? No meat eating, fish or eggs also. And then no gambling, even stock market on, and then risky stocks. I'm not talking about those fixed things or bonds here. And then no intoxication, alcohol, caffeine, tea, and then finally no illicit sex. If you can do it, then you will get the mercy of the Lord also. Given the blessings of the Lord. So the other thing is attachment and aversion. It is the same side of the coin. I mean, different sides of the same coin. Okay? Someone who's too attached, he can turn around and say, I don't like it. Actually, he's attached. He's showing the negative side of the same attachment. So, in this case, Arjuna is attached to his family members. And that's why he's averse to fighting. That is the same thing. He's attached to his family, so he's averse to fighting. So therefore Krishna tells him, person must be free from this thing also. Attachment and aversion. Yeah. Don't be averse to anything. If you don't, generally brahmacharis are told, right? Don't mix with the woman. So then they take to the extreme, right? They look at the woman, oh Maya. Nonsense. This is nonsense. In the early days it was like that. Oh, don't talk to her. Most of them who were doing like that all got married in the end.
there is right now too.
Oh, yeah.
They don't look at the woman.
No. I grew up with 3 sisters, mom, aunties and so on. They were all nice to me. Why should I look at them, right? So this concept is wrong. The thing is you don't closely associate with them. That's what the thing is. And you should look at them as mothers actually. But in the Western society, it's very difficult because you tell them mother, they say, why you call me mother? I'm not your mother. But actually, if you can respect someone like that, then you do not see them in another way, in a lusty way or something. That's why in Vedic culture, they say that very strongly.
Why do they call Prabhus for men? Prabhujis. What do they call?
See,
Matas and Prabhus. Right?
yeah, for ladies, Matajis, and Matajis is actually higher than Prabhu. Prabhu is a master-servant relationship. Mataji is like son and so it's a higher, rasa wise is higher also. But it's other respect. We call the ladies mothers.
And it's only the respect that's for men too. While
Yeah, same. So men always have this Purusha Bhava, controlling tendency. So you call them Prabhu, they feel good, no? So then, satisfy them in one sense, but at the same time they will think, I'm not the master. If they're intelligent enough, they should think, I'm not your master, I'm also your servant. So they will then call you Prabhu also. But if you want to call a lady like a feminine word master, then you call Prabhavi. But best, according to Prabhupada and Chanaka Pandit, is you call them mothers. Okay, so that is, and that's how you get the mercy. Huh? Everything is concerned, his concern should be pleasing and satisfying the Supreme Lord. Okay. Text 65. We'll finish this chapter, then you can go for your lunch. Prasade sarva dukhanam anirasya bhajayate sanna chetuso hi ashu buddhi paryavatishtate. For one, thus satisfied in Krishna consciousness, the threefold miseries of material existence exist no longer. In such satisfied consciousness, one's intelligence is soon well established. Satisfied means you're not, when you're satisfied, you're not, not desperate or disturbed. You're peaceful, actually. To come to this satisfied stage, you must be in the mode of goodness. So to practice mode of goodness, you need to do be a devotee. Yes, automatically you will be in the mode of goodness or beyond that, Suddha Sattva. So that's why we encourage and try to enthuse everyone to do service, chanting and all this. Suddha Sattva. So you all should do it happily, you do it, because you have this opportunity. This Krishna conscious movement is brought by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, personally, Krishna. That's why from Goloka Vrindavan, he personally brought this movement. So take this opportunity, because it comes very rarely, once in a day of Brahma. So we are lucky, it only happened 500 years ago. So we are very close, very fortunate. So don't misuse this opportunity. Okay? Bhakti. So do bhakti. Alright, text 66. Nasti buddhira yuktasya nacha yuktasya bhavana nacha bhavayatha shantir Asashantasya kuthashukam. One who is not connected with the Supreme in Krishna consciousness can have neither transcendental intelligence nor a steady mind, without which there is no possibility of peace. And how can there be any happiness without peace? Good point Krishna is making. Unless one is in Krishna consciousness, there's no real peace. The most people talk about peace means they either pay each other something and so on, right? That's what nowadays, I'm now peaceful. But what is the peace? Real peace. Real peace is when you're connected. That's it. Because you know your position, your constitutional role in life, spiritually also. If we don't do things for Krishna, then we are doing it for our senses. And we do for our senses, then the intelligence is not pure. Whatever we do, because we will do it for our gratification at the expense of everyone. Right?
Yeah.
If let's say that if you need to buy something to eat, and then there's only limited stock, and then you don't know about Krishna anything, then you will be competing, right, with the other person. No, and if you find a sale, you don't tell anyone, right, until you buy. Right? It's true, right? And then after you buy, when someone asks you, you say, oh, I bought it in a sale, but then the sale is no more. So the intelligence is getting very low. The consciousness is getting low. So you can see how what Krishna says is true. We tend to do these things. We tend to be like a snake or do all kinds of things to put someone down. But as soon as you are connected with Krishna, immediately you are thinking, hey, they are serving a lot of prasadam. Let's go. Invite everybody. Right? Or they are having kirtan. Let's go.
That's what they do on Sunday after when prasadam comes, lots of people come.
Yes, I know that.
That's what prasadam.
Because most people are at that level only. It's called Annamaya platform, only at the stage of eating. They can only, at that moment they can see Krishna only through the prasad. So it's okay, we'll give them a lot of Krishna. It may take a long time when you just take prasad to come to the stage of hearing. So first Annamaya, then Pranamaya, then Manomaya, then Anandamaya comes later. Understand? So don't feel bad that if they don't come, and sometimes we have nice classes, they don't want to listen also. It is okay. They need the prasad. That's why they are coming for the prasad. They are what we call prasad bhaktas. Yeah.
For that also they need to have Krishna's name.
Yes. So we are happy that they are coming.
They are purifying little by little.
Oh yeah, they are purifying. That's why I say I have no problem. I'm happy they are coming. We want them to come.
At least they come and say
Yes.
nothing.
I'll tell you a story. That's a lot of stories. I remember in Perth, in Australia, Perth, right? This gentleman used to come. He was very. You'll see him in the streets and all, but every time on Sunday feast he'll come. He'll stink and smell and so on. He'll sit in one place. He is huge also. He'll sit there and then he'll nod away when the class is going. He won't even want to care about it. But as soon as prasadam is served, he'll wake up. And then he'll eat a lot. So then after many years I left. He was always doing the same thing. 10 years later I went back to the same place. And then I saw him again then. I said, oh no, this guy's still here. But he looked better. Appearance-wise he was much better. Then as the class was going and then they asked for question, he put up his hand and he's asking question. He had a Bhagavad Gita with him.
By improve.
Yeah, he is asking, his consciousness is purified because of taking so much prasad. So yeah, so we want to give prasad. We want everyone to come and take prasad. It's good for them. Because eventually they will get connected to Krishna. So let's remember, I'm trying to connect. Always connect. So when you are connected to Krishna, you'll always think about how to connect people to Krishna. That is transcendental intelligence. When you are thinking at home how we can increase so that more people will come to temple, that is Krishna consciousness. That is transcendental intelligence. But if you are thinking how I can destroy the temple, that is Rakshasa buddhi, and then you...
Does that?
No, I'm just saying, this as an example. To see the diverse way people sometimes think.
Let's bring a different precedent.
Huh?
Let's bring a different precedent. I'm better than him.
That will have, it's normal. Even if you bring another president, there will be a group of people who will complain. It's normal. This is like a fixed distress for that position. Krishna has made it like that. So whoever occupies the position will have some distress from the mass. So you want to be in that position, you better be ready to get some flack from anybody.
But there are some people, they just want to bring everybody down.
That's always there. It's always there. It's part of the material. But you don't worry, you just wish them well also. The thing is, performing Krishna consciousness means you don't become entangled in those kind of turmoils. You should understand, this is test for me. I still have to do my service. Krishna is saying if I am capable of doing this, so I will do my service as best I can. If I can't do, I will step down. It's not a big deal. It's not a permanent situation. Just like Indra's position is not permanent, Brahma's position is not permanent. So temple position is not permanent. So nobody should think, oh, I'm now the king, the Indra, and the temple. No, that is not the idea. The person who's put by GBC means we should just follow what they do. If they're not good, the GBC will remove. Like that. It's not a big deal. I've seen so many temples come and go over my 30 years in the movement.
I think I like your other story, like it's about the paint. That is so true there actually.
Tell them.
Painting actually, like if one of the devotee think that paint would be good, the other would think yellow would be good, and the president will say, no, this should be it, so we just follow the order.
Exactly.
Even if it doesn't look good, but still just...
Yeah, and if others come and tell you, I don't like this paint, temple paint, then you say, we had a discussion, and this is the paint we all agreed on, finally. That's all. So that way, they can't propagate the discord anymore. But if you say, yeah, I also don't like it, then put it on your Facebook and Twitter, the paint is no good, that's ridiculous. No time for that. I'm saying, we have no time for this thing. We have only time to chant and guide other people to Krishna consciousness. These are all small things. But it's a natural phenomena for material world. This is a place for
That focuses on that on
problems.
So again, like judging others.
It's
Even
a
that's
normal
the
thing.
problem. Like,
It's a
even we
normal
are judging someone, like maybe we don't know actually why they are not coming to class or
Yes,
why they are-
yes.
There might be so many reasons.
No, we should never do that. We should just continue with our service. When people are qualified and they want to improve, they will automatically do all the necessary things. But on our part, we should always be favorable to everyone. And
focus
favorable.
on one thing, that's Krishna, that's it. No judging.
Exactly. So like if you are doing some service in temple, just do your best service. Everyone's doing something. So text 67. I'm going to finish before the end. Why you want to do?
No.
Indriyanam hi charatam yadmano nu vidiyate asya harati prajñam vayunavamivam vasi. As a strong wind sweeps away a boat on the water, even one of the roaming senses on which the mind focuses can carry away a man's intelligence. Very good verse. So if you are focusing on something nonsense, your mind will carry you away in that way, right? It's like for example, they tell you, can you go and look for a good let's say,
Restaurant.
okay, let's say, look for a good restaurant location in the city for the temple. And then you go to the city, then you walk in, then you see some boutique, and then you stop by the boutique, and then you shop there, and then you come back. And then they say, did you look for a location? Oh, but I got a good sale at this place. So your mind is carried away by the roaming senses. So therefore, don't go walkabouts in the city. Control your senses. Rather you can walk around the temple area. Alright, so let's continue 68. Tasmadyasya mahabaho nigrihitani sarvasha indriyani attebhyas asya prajna vrittistitha. Therefore, O mighty arm, one whose senses are restrained from their objects is certainly of steady mind. So, one who has understood this so far, he will focus his mind on Krishna. He will focus his service on Krishna. Whatever he is doing in his life, he will try to connect it to Krishna. If he is not sure, then he will ask those who are able to explain to him how to connect to Krishna. So such a person will be sense controlled, and therefore his intelligence is steady. That is steady means. Steady means always connected to Krishna. Okay. And then on your own you can try. You can try and control your senses. It's very difficult. Right? Try to close your mind and meditate. I can bet you within 1 or 2 seconds you're flying somewhere. You go someplace already.
So comes out of place.
Yeah. So therefore, it's not easy. Even now when you are chanting, you find your mind is going somewhere, thinking about, oh, what my wife has cooked today, will you be good, prasada, Hare Krishna. Isn't it? That's how mind is always agitated.
But you have to learn to focus.
Yeah. So whenever your mind runs, let's stop. Then you say, Lord, help me focus on your holy name, then start again.
So, while doing that, can we stop chanting and do that, or
Stop chanting and
it happens every time?
Yeah. Happens to everybody, don't worry.
So means when that happens, like stop and then just pray,
Right, yes.
and then again
Then
chant.
continue.
So it happens
I
to
always
you.
have a
Go on.
I always have a question, like means when I chant, someone talks to me at that time. Should I stop the chanting and talk? Is that
First of all, you should make it such that you won't get any interruptions. Unless you are doing some, let's say, service here, in the morning, you come here and you're chanting and somebody asks you about a service, that's okay. Then you stop. Don't chant anymore. Finish it, then you continue. But essentially, no disturbance during chanting. Yes, as much as possible.
So when I chant back, should I chant back from first or in
No,
before I
continue.
stop?
It's okay, just continue from here.
Good stuff.
If you want to start from the beginning, yeah, you can do that.
The soul and the mind connected anyway.
The soul and the mind is... Oh, the soul is independent of the mind. But you use the mind as a repository of ideas that you desire. When you desire, those desire goes to the mind. And then the mind says, oh, let's do this. And then your senses will say, yes, let's do this. But then your intelligence is the one that will say, if you do this, this is the problem. If you do this is the problem. So if you are steady mind, then you will choose the right thing. If you are not steady mind, the senses all will say, no, just choose that, we'll enjoy ourselves. Okay? It's like that. It's like association, right? You say, no, I don't want to go to the pub, but 10 of your friends will come on man, let's go man, it's fun man. And then you're like, okay, I'll go this one time. So
So at that time it's nothing to do with the soul at all.
the soul is making the decision.
So the intelligence is the soul.
No, the soul uses the intelligence to make the decision.
Soul or mind, Guru?
The mind is a repository. It provides, shows you, you have this to enjoy or this to suffer, like that.
Soul or conscience?
Huh?
It's conscious, right?
Consciousness is what the soul is, you know. Okay, as I said yesterday also, the soul the soul is the mind, the intelligence, the consciousness. Everything is the soul. But when it has the material body, it has all separated. Because the mind is also an element, you know. So it uses the mind to think about all these things. So the intelligence is to decide. Okay?
When somebody makes some wrong choices.
The intelligence provides the soul to make the decision. Right? So you decide, yes or no. So intelligence will tell you, if I do this, this is the problem. If I do this, this is successful, like that. So then you as a soul will say, I pick this. It happens very fast. Yes. So you don't see all the man gates and the law and all those things, you don't see that. But it happens very fast, very quickly.
So the soul does carry those imprints that proceed to the next.
Yes, it is kept in the mind. So in your next birth, whatever desires you have, it follows you. So based on your desires, you have a new body. And then you start again, subtle body. So the mind, intelligence, ego is your subtle body. Based on that, you get your next body. So now you already know what are the desires you have in your mind. So you will know what body, in a sense, you are. So try to stop all that. Try to wash it out with Krishna.
I thought it is a covering of the soul.
It is a
But the soul
covering.
itself is very clear.
Yeah.
But it is the covering of the soul that is all.
It's the ego, false ego. And then it identifies with the body, it identifies with the intelligence, it identifies with the mind. Ahankar is what makes you identify. It's very subtle. It is very close to the soul, that covering. And it's impossible to get rid of it. Only through Krishna's mercy and devotee's mercy. It's virtually impossible. Actually, you cannot get out of this material world. It's not possible. It's only devotional service that can get you out. So you have a great opportunity. Let's go. I don't want to be stuck in this chapter for too long. So anyway, if you are a sadhaka, you can understand these things. Huh? You become suitable for liberation by practicing sadhana and so on. And most of the other things are similar. By practicing Krishna consciousness, you establish pure, you purify this material intelligence. It becomes the same as intelligence that it should use correctly. The soul will use it correctly, like that.
So you're purifying soul then, not your mind.
You are purifying your ego, actually, your false ego. It is so subtle you cannot see it. So everything is contaminated because your ego is seeing through all these things. So you purify everything, and finally the soul will see correctly. Okay? Because this identification with the body is causing all these problems that we have now. So by not identifying with the body, but thinking that I am a spirit soul, I am serving Krishna, regardless of what body I have, is purifying your intelligence, purifying your mind, purifying your ego. Okay. This is very technical, so it's not easy to understand. And if you chant more and more, your intelligence will be purified enough to appreciate and understand it as you progress. And you'll say, oh yeah, this makes sense. You understand? Like if you teach calculus to a primary school, even though it makes sense to the person teaching it, the primary school kid won't understand it because they are not qualified at that stage. But later on, years later, their capacity, intelligence is why? Because the process is allowing them to be able to study. It's the same way. As you chant more and more, you come back to the same verses, just like I do. Every time I read, I get more and more realization as the years go on. The intelligence becomes sharper and sharper and sharper, and you can see exactly what you have to do for Krishna, like that.
the basic goal is just to keep chanting now, and
Yes.
eventually the connections will be made before finally we
Yeah.
realize.
Many things you will also hear, like some sadhu will come and give class, and then you will, oh, makes sense now.
Different person.
Yeah, Krishna will come through different devotees to give you the knowledge. Or you yourself will realize it suddenly. Ah,
Yeah, there's
last time I read, I didn't know. Now I can make sense. So he will come through Buddhi Yogam. He will give you the intelligence. Yenamam upayanti te. So I'll give you the intelligence to understand me.
Just read the Gita all the time.
Yes.
Chanting that you
Yeah.
know more.
You purify your intelligence by reading the Gita. The thing is, it's not in my control, it's in your control to purify. So the more you do it, then Krishna will say, okay, I'll give you something to understand me. Okay, you've done some austerity that I am pleased. Not that you did austerity, I am giving you. Okay, that's a difference. Not that you are doing austerity. No, I am pleased because you are doing this. So I am giving you some intelligence. That's the difference. We cannot think, I am chanting so Krishna must give me liberation. No. You're chanting because you have to. You have no choice. By pleasing the devotees and Krishna, the best way is to please devotees. If you please the devotees, Krishna is forced to give you many things. That's why it says servant of the servant of the servant. He says, he who calls himself my devotee is not my devotee, but he who serves my devotee is my devotee. Okay? So then your intelligence becomes purified, because Krishna is pleased with you, your Guru is pleased with you, the devotees are pleased with you. Then you get the purification. Okay. So therefore, in the meantime, you have no choice but to chant and do devotional service. Text 69. Yanisha sarva bhutanam Tasyam jagati samyami Yasyam jagati bhutani Sanisha pasyato muni. What is night for all beings is the time of awakening for the self-control. The time of awakening for all beings is night for the introspective sage. So, an attached person is different from a detached person. That's what it is. Like day and night. Apples and oranges. And day and night. So, a person who is unaffected is Sthita Prajna. So, is unaffected by the mood of sense enjoyment. Like a sleeping man is unaffected by his surrounding. When you sleep, you can sleep here and the sound can go, you're not affected. So the same way, one who is Krishna conscious is unaffected by the mood of sense enjoyment. Whoever wants to enjoy, he is not disturbed by that. He is neutral to happiness and distress that come from even his own karma. Okay? So he is like accepting. Remember I was telling you, you just accept your karma. Oh, this person is angry with me because I must have done something. That's how his mood is. So thank you for your blessing. I understand my foolishness. Thank you. So that's a very high level of consciousness. But that's the Sthita Prajna. He's neutral to the happiness and distress that come from his karma. And he's undistracted by even seeing objects as sources of sense pleasure anymore. Even if he sees, he's not at all. He's blank. He sees all those sense gratification thing as blank. He only sees Krishna. Just like we have pictures of Krishna and we. So that's what he will see. He will see the devotee. He will see anyone as devotee of Krishna. Sthita Prajna. Like that. That's the nature of a elevated person. Or in another sense you can say what is night for all beings. So in modern society people only wake up very late, right? Like it's Sunday, I'm sure most of them just woke up only. because last night they had party. So that is time of awakening for them. And then by evening they are ready to live their life, go to disco or dancing or pub or bar. So that is the time of awakening. But for devotees, at night is time for us to sleep. So when we wake up at 4 in the morning, these people are all coming out of the pub and bar and then wander to sleep. So they will sleep at the wrong time. So that's another way you can understand also. When you are focused on sense gratification, that's happening. In fact, even young kids are doing nowadays. They stay up all night on their cell phone and what is that? Texting or iPading or whatever you call it. And then they waste their time. So actually the parents should, when they come home, they should sign in their telephone and then sign out in the morning when they go to school or something like that.
That would be a dream.
Huh?
That would be a dream for many parents.
No,
But there should be something allowed for them to communicate with their friends, right? With charity. Okay, if they are doing too much.
Certain hours.
certain hours. There should be curfew. You have to control, otherwise, what is that? They have the new thing, sexting. If you get caught, you can go to you can get what? Police, right? You can get prison also, depending on age and so on. It's considered pornography and things like that. So, and if a child is underage, the parent gets to go. So you have to be careful. No? I think there's a law like that.
Because kids are innocent, they don't know what's good or bad, and parents has to guide them.
Nowadays I don't know whether kids are innocent.
Depends on the parents, I guess.
Yeah. Nowadays the kids know more than the parents. That's it. Alright, text 7D. He gives another analogy here. Apuryamanam achala pratistam samudramapa pravishanti adva tadvat kamayam pravishanti sarve sashantim apnoti na kamakami. A person who is not disturbed by the incessant flow of desires that enter like rivers into the ocean, which is ever being filled but is always still, can alone achieve peace and not the man who strives to satisfy such desires. Same thing, no? You see the rivers are flowing into the ocean, right? You don't see the ocean go up and down like that, no. It's always still, the same level is maintained. So Krishna is saying we also should be like that. Even with all the disturbance in the world, we should be self-centered, focused on the Supreme Lord in our heart. Many things can happen in our life, upheavals and all kinds of things. But we shouldn't let that emotions affect us. That's what he's saying. Because he says, if you strive to satisfy your desires, then you become man of unsteady intelligence. Then you'll do all kinds of things. And then you get entangled in all kinds of problems in life. So therefore, you have to control your senses. So that is the example is given. And basically, if you have Krishna consciousness, and if you are really Krishna conscious, the Lord will take care of your material needs. You don't have to worry about that. He will. You'll have your job security will be there, don't worry. You get food to eat, you get a house to live, so what else do you need, right? Basically, what else we all need? Nothing else. So therefore, being human being, what we need is Krishna to complete our life, existence. Otherwise, we will be bored. Let's say you have no TV, nothing. What are you all going to do? Read, chant. Yeah, you can do all that. But if you don't have all that, then
Come here.
yeah, come to the temple. Call up and say, any service? Probably that'll be the last thing you want to do. No, but that's how you change your lifestyle. Change that lifestyle. Because mostly usually out there things are just going to drag you back into the material life cycle, birth, death, all that. And you don't want that. So as you improve, you will see you don't want any more sense enjoyment. You're not interested in sense. You will find that it's a factual thing. As you chant nicely over the months and years, you will see you're not interested in material things. You are only thinking, as you said, how to come to temple, do some service, go out, meet new people, preach to them, or give them prasadam, meet your friends, tell them about Krishna, like that. Spread the news. And you'll become more peaceful, you're very steady. People will say, hey, go to him. He's very calm, he can help you with this thing. Talk to that Mataji, she's also good like that. Because then you are steady, you're not disturbed anymore. That is called achieving real peace, because you're connected to Krishna. Krishna is the only person who can give you real peace. Everything else is...
You're associated with the right person.
Associate with all of you, associate nicely, you are associated with the right people. Okay, text 71, we are just about to finish. Vihaya kamanya sarvan Umam charati nishpriha Nirmamo niramhankara Sashantim adhigacchati. A person who has given up all desires for sense gratification, who lives free from desires, who has given up all sense of proprietorship and is devoid of false ego, he alone can attain real peace. So this is a very high level, okay? So you can, this is like the goal. But you can see this is what the standard is. So then we can work for it. We can work to that standard. But this is a description of someone who is very advanced. This is the platform of actual desirelessness. But he desires to please completely Krishna. That's what. That is real desirelessness. But he has desire to please Krishna. That's the desire. That's the right desire. Okay. And then finally, Eshabhami sthiti partha Nainam prapya vibhuyati Sthitvasyam antakalepi Brahma nirvanam richati. That is the way of spiritual and godly life, after attaining which man is not bewildered. If one is thus situated, even at the hour of death, one can enter into the kingdom of God. Okay? So, if you follow nicely, at the time of death, you will still be thinking of Krishna, service, how I can help more the devotees. You may be thinking, oh, so much service more to do, I want to come back and do. But you're thinking for Krishna. So that is good. Yeah. So that is okay. Then at that time Krishna will say, no, I want you to come back. Why you? No, I can't miss you anymore. Come back. Like that. So this is very advanced stage. It's called Uttama Bhakta stage. But we have to strive to come to this stage. We have to work, help each other. I have this problem, okay, this helped me. I did this and this helped me become better at controlling my senses. Like that. So you all can do it. Alright, if you have any questions, you can discuss it later. So this is the end of the chapter 2.